Simon, a really bitterly disappointing end to the season, and indeed your time here at Halifax. Can you even begin to describe your feelings at this moment in time?
Good. Disappointed. Just because it'd have been disappointing for a number of reasons. At the end of the year, there would have been some disappointment, regardless of whether we're going to playoffs or whatnot. Just because I think we've left some points behind along the way, haven't we? But yeah, today, with it being in our hands at home, that's the disappointing arm of it. But I can happily say I can give it my all. I can walk away with my head held high. I think we've done a good job as a staff, not only myself. I'm only one part of it. The people in the background, we've done a good job over the last few years and left it in a good spot, which was always the aim. Leave it in a better place than you find it, which I think we've done that. And yeah, I think the club can certainly bounce back. It's not the end of the world. We did get there in '95, but we quickly forget that, don't we? Yeah, disappointing though. I thought Swinton were absolutely brilliant. They looked like a team that was scrapping for survival, and I have mentioned to yourself in the interview, I mentioned to the boys this week about their plight's none of our business. We have to be desperate to make sure we do what we can. But that desperation just wasn't visible for us for long enough today, and as I've said in other interviews, I said it to the boys after the game, it kind of summed our season up, where we've been good and looked very good in patches, just not for long enough. And ultimately the boys who take the field every week are the ones who've got to have the right level of concentration and all those bits and bobs. So there's definitely some mirrors to be looked at, some things to be worked out, and none of it's insurmountable. None of it can be, it's not the end of the road. On all the areas we've failed in, I think we can improve in all areas. So it's looking positive for the future, but right now and for the next few weeks, it'll taste a little bit sour.
Ben Cross went over in the first 5 minutes and thought going to script to it, we're going to do all right. Do you think it's the most upsetting thing that Swinton did show that desperation and came back into it, and we didn't have that want or desire?
You've watched every game, Mike. I don't think it was want or desire, it was just rabbits in headlights. We just got a little bit panicked by the situation we found ourselves in. We found ourselves 18-4, was it? 18-4 through our rubbish, our penalties, which again, you've watched every game. That was a point I was alluding to, where you've watched them all. That's been a common theme for us, just letting teams out of yardage, giving them pressure releases where we can't actually get into the game properly because we just keep giving them the ball in more favourable positions than we'd like to. I mean, the first set was typical. We marched up the field, it was easy really. Good set for us, we kick it, and just a lack of concentration. We hit him while he's still in the air, rather than having that half a second turn. Their first tackle probably would have been 3 metres off their try line. Instead, they kick it 30 metres downfield, and now you're defending your own line. So that's the game, unfortunately. Not good enough for long enough, and discipline just needs to improve. And I'm sure it will moving forward.
Because of the results, we have finished 8th, unfortunately, in the 2023 season. We've won the 1895 Cup, which is a good thing, but do you think that's kind of papered over some cracks going over the season?
I don't know. The 1895 was great and I wouldn't change it, but that comes with some challenges as well. It's extra games, it's no weekends off, which when they're working a 40-hour week and training on the evening, it does get on top of you a bit. And even just relationship-wise, when you're not going well, you bicker a little bit, but then you get a weekend off every now and again, which gives a little bit of separation, and you come back and everyone's ready to go again. We've not had that. They're a tight group, but there's such thing as being too tight as well. I think at times that helped us. I lost my trail of thought there. But no, papering over cracks, I think it's quite obvious. We don't have to hide it. We've spoke about it. We've lost too many games by a small margin, where I think we miss keys in a lot of those games. I think if he plays, we get them, and that's just where we're at as a club. I think the guys who own the club are doing a great job at the moment, and this club has its troubles, believe me. It's difficult. The stadium's not ours. All these bits we all do, it makes the job really hard, and expectation doesn't gain less regardless of the issues you face. But factors wise, I think last year we didn't get to market till late for a number of reasons. You can argue, and there's a strong argument, because a number of players have left the club that were with us, that we didn't get recruitment right, which didn't help us when we needed it. So when we lost the keys, we weren't able to replace adequately, so we had to sort of fudge around and try a few different combinations, which we had varied degrees of success in that period. Probably cost us, to be honest.
Your time has come to an end with this defeat. 4.5 years as coach of your boyhood club. What memories have you got to look back on during that time, or if you can do right now, really?
Loads of good memories. I view it a little bit 4.5 years above the door and all that, but I think we've had 3 full seasons. 2019 was dead before I picked it up. 20 died after 4 games. Was it 4 games? COVID.
Yeah.
But gone through lots of change, lots of necessary change, I think. But in them 3 full years, I think with the resources we've got and what being the club we are, I think we've done the best with what we've got. 2 playoff finishes and an 1895 Cup. Can walk away quite proud of that, I think, but I would have been quite a bit happier had we got playoffs this time. But yeah, it's not to be. Lots of lessons learned, enjoyed it, club's been great for me. As I say, I do think myself, Finney's been here before, Ricky Sharif, my brother Scott, Andy Ollier, all the staff that we've had in amongst Damien Clayton, Kim Field, Emma, I keep going. All them staff in between have all contributed and done a really good job and making sure it's as professional as we can have it in a part-time environment and make the best of what we've got with what we've got. And I think we've managed to do that. And Finney now just has to get in playoffs and everyone will be happy with it because that's an improvement now moving forward. So it's in a good place and it's certainly in good hands moving forward.
It's a bit of a weird question to ask, but what kind of job has Liam Finn got now that you've left the Rangers, coming back into a team that he knows well, club he knows well?
Yeah, I think he'll drop into it quite easily. Finney's been around, I don't know if anyone's seen him around, but he's been around for the last few weeks since Dewsbury stopped having a good look at stuff and building a little bit of rapport with some of the players that he didn't know quite as well. But listen, the squad's not changing massively. There'll be a few players come in that'll add, I think, what we need. I've had a hand in that, obviously prior to Liam, or prior to making the decision that it's time to move on and then Liam getting the job. There's probably another couple of bits of business to do. We'll have a very strong competitive squad and it will be another strong competitive year in the Championship and hopefully we can get that consistency right as a team and we get the wins that we need to make sure we're in that mix at the end of the year. Because, like it or not, I'm a fan of different sports and I've got a very short memory. When it's not going perfect, I get a little bit frustrated by it. But on the whole, I think our fans have been pretty good, stuck with us through that thick and thin. And thankfully, they have the 1895 to enjoy because obviously the playoffs feels like a bit of a, well, it is a deflated moment, isn't it now as we stand here? But on the whole, I think it's not what we wanted to get in the playoffs, as obviously that's our bread and butter. But I think the 1895, when we look at it on the whole, that experience probably takes a little bit of the edge off the dour feeling at the moment. But yeah, we'll all be disappointed, but that's sport sometimes. It doesn't always go your way, and we've arguably had it our way for a couple of years. We take our medicine and we go again.